Welcome in, everyone. And oh my gosh, I was so nervous pressing that go live button because I couldn't even get into studio before. I got that same notification saying, we've got this high volume of traffic. Try again in 30 to 60 seconds. And I thought, oh no, here we go. But we're in. So I hope it doesn't do any of that buffering stuff that's been happening lately. But if it does, sounds like StreamYard still haven't got their act together, which is really annoying. So welcome in Ariel, Camilla, Charlotte, Callie, Angelina, Anki, Summer Breeze, Hemi. Good to see everyone in here. Yeah, okay. So I'm just getting past the trying to breathe again after thinking that I wasn't going to be able to go live. So frustrating. Yeah, I'm wondering how many of the other people who are glitching have StreamYard. I know not all of them do, but I think there's a few people that I've seen who've got StreamYard and have basically had the same sort of issues. Welcome in, Hugging Demons. Good to see you here. It is so frustrating. StreamYard's the best. There isn't an alternative that works, that gives all the options that StreamYard does. It's probably one of the more expensive ones, though. But what can you do? First of all, I mentioned yesterday that I'd put a few things in a online store. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep that store up for long. I'm looking into alternatives, not just because of all the markups and everything, but it turns out that they're a little bit aggressive with their marketing as well. So if you go in and you go to get a product and then you find out that, it's got all these extra expenses on top, or, you change your mind, they start emailing, and it seems like I can't find anywhere on my end where I can unsubscribe people from. And I think it's one of those ones that's very hard to find how to unsubscribe. I will keep looking after this live stream, but I don't align myself with companies that are that aggressive with their marketing. So I'm going to be looking into other options. At the moment, there's a Canadian company that I've started looking at. They do ship to the United States. I think I can actually put them into a Shopify shop, like a Shopify shop. And I'm going to look into Shopify and see how that goes in terms of if they're possibly a little bit less aggressive, and perhaps a bit more affordable, maybe. Anyway, I will keep looking into that. So yeah, we'll see where things go with that. I was only putting things up because I wanted them to be a bit of fun for people. I wasn't expecting it to be such a pain in the ass. Welcome in, Pinky. Good to see you in here. Now, before we jump into Jack and Lilly, some of you might have heard of this. It's only happened in the last day or so. And this is a case in Manitoba. 3 children who were in foster care. One of them is now deceased. And it sounds like it is a family violence situation. I'm going to play it. The media's not really touching it, and I think because it's a First Nations issue, or it could be because it's a CFS issue. But I think it is something that needs awareness. So I've got a few different clips that I'm going to put up.
On Sunday morning, officers with the Manitoba First Nations Police Service were called by paramedics to a home in Long Plain First Nation near Portage la Prairie, asking for help with a 4-year-old girl who was injured and in medical distress. The first responders tried to save the girl, but she was pronounced dead at the home. 2 other children in the home, aged 1 and 2, were sent to hospital with serious injuries, one in critical condition. Both are now stable. RCMP declined an interview, but in a statement, Superintendent Rob Lasson sent condolences, saying, "This is extremely troubling, and we know the community will be searching for answers as to what occurred within this household. We want to reassure the community that our investigators are working closely with MFNPS and Long Plain First Nation." RCMP say given the serious nature of the incident, the Manitoba Major Crime Services will take over the investigation in collaboration with the Chief Medical Examiner. Vasilios Bellos, Global News.
Okay, I know that possibly as an Australian, it's probably not my place to comment on political stuff, but I hope to God this isn't like in Australia where it gets swept under the carpet because it's First Nations. Because here in Australia, if this was, happening in a Aboriginal community, you could guarantee it'll be ignored by the media, swept under the carpet. I can't see how it would be the only way it could be a systems failure is somehow that these people slipped through the system and got permission to be foster carers. It raises questions for me because at the moment, after the case here in Australia with the little 5-year-old girl that was killed a few months ago, the Northern Territory had this, the Northern Territory government had this knee-jerk reaction where, they brought in what appears to be new policies that aren't really new policies. And they're like, we want to make sure that we keep foster care within the Aboriginal community. And I just see this as being an ongoing issue with independent, like First Nations kind of people. If it becomes something that's really rigid, where, we want to put a child in care, but we want to keep them in their community. Anyway, I probably shouldn't go down that road because, good morning, Teresa. I'm in your world clock. That's cool. Okay. So obviously they can't identify the children. They can't identify the mother. I saw a post last night after I went to bed, that identified the people that were the carers. I didn't save it and I haven't been able to find it since this morning. Oh, I know. Where is Detective Daniel? He's probably writing his script. He's got to get the script written first, Unky, and then he'll appear. Welcome in, Rita. Mr. Hemi, are you following me? Welcome in, Jerry Lynn. Good to see you. Okay, now I haven't watched this. This is a brief news story that popped up about an hour ago with apparently the mother of these children. Now, we haven't told why the children were in care. We probably won't be told why the children are in care. But, Yeah, it certainly makes you just pray for all those children that are in care and hope that there are tighter reviews of families that take children into care. But, you can't always... They probably looked fantastic on paper. They probably were great in an interview. Anyway, let's see what the mother had to say.
She was the sweetest little girl ever.
This mother is spending all of her time at Winnipeg's Children's Hospital, caring for 2 of her children while grieving the loss of another.
Can I just comment on the media, the angle they're taking here? Because saying this mother is at the hospital caring for her children who've been in foster care for 6 months. Now, I don't know her situation, but it just seems a bit hypocritical for the media to spin it that way. Oh yeah, Professor Dan did no doubt collapse on the trailer floor. I agree.
She started kindergarten. Her birthday was this month. She would have been 5. Yeah, baby.
The 4-year-old and her 1- and 2-year-old sisters have been living on Long Plain First Nation since October after they were apprehended by Child and Family Services. CBC is not naming the mother to protect the identity of the siblings still in care. On Sunday, the mother was told tragic news.
They come and told me about my daughter passing away. And then I had to ask them, where's my other 2? And they didn't even really know where they were. And then the RCMP had to carry my babies out of there, like my baby, because how fragile and weak she was.
Manitoba First Nations police were called to the home after the 4-year-old was found with suspicious injuries, and she was pronounced dead. Her 2 sisters were taken to hospital, 1 in critical condition. RCMP Major Crimes have taken over the investigation, and no charges have been laid. The mom says the children were in the care of Weiwei Sikapo CFS, and that she had been trying to get them back.
I kept asking every week, go there, sit at their office, ask them, can I see my daughters now? I cleaned up my act. I got sober for them. I did everything. I went to treatment. I did the programs. I stayed sober.
Weiwei Sikapo CFS said they aren't commenting at this time. Meanwhile, Manitoba's Families Minister, Nahani Fontaine, said her department is going to open its own internal investigation. The chiefs for both Long Plain and Weiwei Sikapo say they are grieving alongside the family and will not be commenting any further. Kristen Annabelle, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Oh, that poor woman. They're blocking out her face because the other 2 children are still in care. So they're not allowed to release their identities. Clearly she's had issues with drug and alcohol dependence, or drug and or. I do feel for her, because this is going to be a real struggle for her. Imagine going through that and thinking, well, your children are safe, and going through the program and doing all the things. But the thing with that too is it's so easy for a person to relapse. So we could have seen this a different way, in that the children could have been put back in their home too early and things could have gone wrong that way. It's not a good situation. Yeah. How sad. And saying one's in critical condition, that's definitely concerning. Definitely concerning. The truth, even if it's hard to reconcile. Yeah. I really hope that this isn't something that gets swept under the carpet, because I'm just surprised at the lack of media coverage. I thought that, I thought I'd be able to get up this morning and find multiple news stories to choose from. And there was CBS and Global, one story each, and that's pretty much it. And there's very little being said. You think it will, Hemi? I hope not. Yeah, it is. And I think policies probably reflect that. So, this poor woman, she's saying, well, I got clean and, did all the right things. Yeah, you need to be able to show that for a longer period of time, I'd imagine. I think this is going to set her right back. I mean, we don't know the full situation, but it's not a nice situation, and it is concerning that this has happened. Anyway, just for a bit of a lighter mood. Oh, that's right. It won't let me put Professor Dan in my. I'm going to do Professor Dan for a minute. Just give me a second to find it. Just to kind of change the mood a little bit. If I can find it. I need to figure out why it won't let me put it into my thingy. What's it?
Well, I met Professor Dan down at the county store. He said, I've got a brain map and a whole lot more. He had a 5-I word and a shining new grin. Straight from the online thesaurus, he was cashing them in. He said, vivid means cheap and opaque means clear. I said, Dan, that ain't right. He said, I learned it this year. He talked so slick, you'd swear he knew the town, till you listen real close and the meaning fell down. He could tell you all about a polygraph test, every wire, every needle, every puff in the chest, what the sweat on your palm means, what the blink of your eye, how the little machine knows if you're telling a lie. He described it in detail, every minuscule part, but the facts went missing like a hole in his heart. He was accurate sounding, but that's where it ends. A mile of good spelling in a yard of no sense. And he leaned right in like he had the cure for every old problem a person endures. Psychobabble, he'd murmur, I know how it goes. Then he'd trip on the jargon from his head to his toes. Professor Dan, oh Professor Dan, he reads one page and he thinks he can. Professor Dan, oh Professor Dan, all that noise no understand. Oh, Professor Dan, Professor Dan. He's an expert on hounds and the scent in the air, on police line chalk and a flashlight glare, on search and rescue where the mud runs deep, on the way a lost soul breaks and the secret won't keep. He'll talk addiction, trauma, ADHD, like every psychiatrist calls him up for free. Doc, what's your advice? He'll say with a grin, then he'll answer himself before the truth gets in. Professor Dan, oh Professor Dan, he reads one page and he thinks he can. Professor Dan, oh Professor Dan, all that noise no understand. Oh, Professor Dan, Professor Dan. Well, he's got every answer in a digital pile, but the more he explains it, the less it feels like he's got confidence, sure, and a dazzling pose. But he's mixing up wisdom with the words he chose. Now he's 10 feet taller in the key of G, still wrong as a fence post, plain as can be. He's a master of nothing, but he sure loves the sound of his own big opinions circling around. So if you need a lesson in what not to do, call Professor Dan and he'll prove it to you. He's full of big talk and a borrowed brain. Every word sounds smart, but it lands in the drain.
Yeah, it's becoming a trademark thing now to throw the Muppets in wherever I can. I do love the Muppets, adding them into the videos. Speaking of which, but not speaking of which, I have to apologize for the video that I put out last night before I went to bed. I haven't checked to see if there's any comments or anything on it, but I originally put a clip in, a Monty Python clip, the one from Life of Brian, where the guy's like talking to the crowd and he's telling them, you're all individuals, and they're going, we're all individuals, and some guy goes, I'm not. I got a copyright claim on it and I had to remove it. So if it sounds like I'm just talking randomly about Monty Python in the middle of that video, that's why, because I haven't had a chance to clip that out properly. Welcome in, Dawn. Good to see you in here. Yeah, that case in Winnipeg, Manitoba, I'm going to be watching it very closely. I just hope that it's not one of those cases where you try and find information and it's almost impossible to find it. There's a few cases that I've been following that are like that. Little Jaden Spicer, that's gone completely silent. This is one with Felicia and what was it? I can't remember her partner's name. And she claimed that he'd gone missing from his bedroom and she'd buried him in a tote. I know they've had court dates, but the page for him is not really saying anything. There's nothing in the media. I can't access court records because a lot of the courts in America won't allow access with someone outside of America. So, I hope it's not going to be a situation like that where it's impossible to find out what's going on. I might be the only person to follow this case. It concerns me that the media is already, shimmying away from it. But yeah, no, Jaden's case, it really bothers me that I can't find information. Like, what is happening? Is there justice happening, or who knows? Hi Sheila, welcome in. Okay, let's move on to Daniel. I would rather talk about anybody else but Daniel, but let's do that. And I will get back to doing my analysis of Malaya's interview. I'm going to do a comparison because somebody said that the article from what's the name? The other media article. Someone said that there were contradictions in that, which I hadn't noticed because I just sort of scanned through it and went, that just sounds the same as her interview with Angela. So I didn't actually bother looking too closely, but I will look at that, and if there are contradictions, I will talk about them. Welcome in, Carrie. Good to see you here. Okie dokie, let's just rip off the band-aid and get into Daniel.
I'm limited on what I know on it. I know the kind of the location from what investigators told me on it. I kind of know the location, but I've never seen the print in person.
Oh, good night, Angelina. I just should mention, I think I've run this back too far. Like, I think I've not edited it enough in terms of where it starts from. So we'll just listen through this first bit.
Now, well, I was going to say, like the boot print, I actually don't put no mind or thought into the boot print. The blanket, different story. Now, I was told that forensics came back and that you were spoken to because of the fact that they believe that you planted the blanket and that you were called in. True or not true?
I did do a formal interview on the blanket because they needed to know everything on the blanket, right from the origin, where it was bought, everything, the lifespan of the blanket, we'll call it, right? They brought me in for a formal interview on that because they brought Malay in as well, obviously not at the same time, but they brought us both in. We did formal interviews on the blanket, right? So they know the lifespan of the blanket.
Sorry, I'm just gonna go ka-ching. I love that one, Karen. Had to pause and comment because it's so true.
Or the blanket's timeline, we'll call it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because they knew I didn't plant it. I wasn't on the road on May 2nd when it was found.
That's actually his gaslighting voice there, where he says they know I didn't plant it, because you start to recognize that tone in his voice. Best comment ever in response to Daniel. Well, I've never seen the Dalai Lama in person. But yeah, I'll just run it back a few seconds. This is his gaslighting voice.
Because they knew I didn't plant it. I wasn't on the road on May 2nd when it was found. I didn't find the blanket. I have nothing to do with the blanket, right?
I mean,
So then when we can talk about, they know my DNA is on the blanket,
obviously,
and
right.
and so they.
Thank you, Summer Breeze. Very much appreciated. I think it's the way at the end of each word, or at the end of each phrase, you can hear his voice go up, like blanket. It's so classic Daniel.
Wanted to get the DNA from me, which I obviously gave, right? And we did up the paper, like I already explained in detail, but I can do it again. They took the applicator, they stabbed my finger,
Right.
and squeezed my finger for like 20 minutes so I could get 4 drops of blood out. Put it on the I don't know what you want to call it, the mesh pad or the paper, and it was sealed for evidence. And we went over the paper, the consent paper. I had.
Yeah, he's pissed about a lot of things, in my opinion. And welcome in, Artemisa. Honestly, him and his describing procedures and stuff like that. So good to see you in here, BTTV. I loved your YouTube short this morning. I was going to go and put a more lengthy comment, but I kind of overslept. But yeah, very much loved that. It really is hard to listen to him. Every time I come onto a live and I start with Daniel's audio, I find myself like pause over the button, willing myself to actually press the button and listen to this douchebag in the first place. And I'm holding it to you as well. Holding you to it as well, BTTV. Sorry. Sorry, but yep, I like that. 20 minutes, 4 drops. After 1 minute, I would have stuck him with a knife and then carried on. They probably would have liked to have done that as well.
A blood sample due to that is the most accurate representation of DNA that you can extract, right? If they didn't want to do a swab in my mouth because it wouldn't be a full panel of DNA. They could get the the full panel of DNA from my blood. So we did that, and then we did the consent form up, and I watched them sign on that consent form. I said this before, I'll say it again. When we did up the consent form on the blanket, they signed and checkmark the box for no criminal involvement on the blanket. I signed the waiver or consent form for my DNA, and the reason why they took the DNA was analysis.
Yeah, he really is a douche, isn't he? Like, you know, the whole giving the whole procedural thing. This is how it works because I'm an expert, and then you get the little things like, you know, because it's a better representation of DNA. Exactly, Karen. It is freaking DNA. Yes, you get a larger panel, but you know it is still DNA, regardless of whether it's a mouth swab or a blood sample. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I guess when you look at the size of the sample in terms of, my brain is still not working properly this morning. You get a larger panel, so more of the parts of that particular DNA, I believe. They probably told him. They probably wanted a blood sample for another reason. So they probably told him that it was a better DNA sample, perhaps. I've never heard that term, BTTV. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I think. Aha, thank you. So a buccal swab stores better, but you need 1,000 times more DNA to get the sequence right. So bloods do work better by the sounds of it then. But I do think that they also wanted his blood for a reason. But yeah, we're supposed to feel sorry for Daniel because they stuck his finger and they squeezed it for 20 whole minutes to get 4 drops of blood. Like, yeah, okay, Daniel. All right. So it's faster to run the DNA from a blood sample than from like a mouth swab, I'm guessing. I should ask my niece this because she's actually a biochemist kind of. This is her field of work essentially. She would be sitting there shaking her head and telling me I'm a complete utter moron, probably. But you know, we can't all be that much of a genius. But yeah, he wants the sympathy vote, that's for sure. And I want to put Callie's comment up because I agree. Hang on. It wouldn't surprise me in the least that there is a good reason why they wanted a blood sample as opposed to just a mouth swab. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You look at Brian Koberger, that was an earbud that they got the DNA from for his father's DNA. So, you know, you can get, these days, they can get DNA off a brick. But yeah, no, you want something that's going to give the best panel, the most elements. He does, because he thinks it makes him sound more knowledgeable if he can throw in all these additional random facts. he has to over-exaggerate because he thinks it makes him sound like he's like, Professor Dan. Yeah, it is, 20 minutes to squeeze 4 drops of blood out of your finger. On you, Daniel. Welcome in, Deborah. Good to see you here. Okay, a little bit more. Yeah, they're true. They're not facts, they're fiction. There is a huge difference. Most of what Daniel comes out with is fiction.
On the blanket, and they checked no criminal involvement for anything to do with the blanket or the extraction of the DNA for the blanket.
Yeah, I have a big hang up on that blanket because it just...
Can you believe that he's still pushing the whole no criminal involvement checked, even though you had a content creator bring up the documents, because you can access the documents on the RCMP website, and you could see there is no box on there, whether it's voluntary or criminal. There is no box that says no criminal involvement. Honest to God.
The Tooth Fairy didn't bring it over there.
No, of course. It didn't fly up there on its own. I've said that. And it didn't blow up on the back of a truck or I believe at one point that Cheryl said that it could have possibly been swept up by a helicopter. Somebody said to Cheryl or Malay or someone.
Seriously, Daniel. Welcome in, Bonza. Sorry, I did see you come in and my brain didn't register. I'm a little bit out of it this morning, I think. Need to try and find a way of getting more sleep, perhaps. I will catch up with myself soon, hopefully. Honestly, the guy's such a tosser. I think they told him that because there was like a really lengthy... They basically interrogated him at the same time. He described it as a long formal interview, but basically it was an interrogation about the blanket. So unless he just presumed that because they took it at the same time that they interviewed him about the blanket, yeah, I wish Sonny had have called him out on that as well. She does call him out on some stuff. It seems to be the norm for you lately, Bonza. So good. Just glad to have you in here. And honestly, I was nearly late. I was, nearly slept in again, except for Mouse just went, "Hey, wake up." He's now become my alarm clock. It seems like he seems to think that there is a specific time you have to get up of a morning, and if you don't, then it's a problem. Yeah, yeah, exactly. That they do seem to think, they are part of it. They're co-investigators. Thanks, BTTB. I know. Why does he need to keep saying that when it's been thoroughly debunked? Yeah. I think that only gets added in after he gets a conviction, but there's got to be more to it than just DNA for the blanket, in my opinion. Because honestly, when you're talking about the blanket, I would have thought that a mouth swab would have been more than adequate for DNA, for a DNA sample for that blanket. Well, yeah, I kind of didn't get to sleep again till really late. Tried, yeah. old dog issues. The ideas didn't quite work. She still does a jig in the middle of the hallway when she wants to go out, regardless of if I've tried to set anything else up. So, you know, if she needs to go out at 4 o'clock in the morning, I've got to get up and take her out at 4 o'clock in the morning. Did they tick off the box something normal? They wouldn't tick off any box that said normal for Daniel.
Heard that it could have been swept up by a helicopter and blew up there or something. Like that's the inaccuracy of that happening is, I mean, it's so low. It's
okay. So well, there's a couple of things because Ninchi True Crime, you know, she's reached out many of times to you know, the police in regards to the case on certain factors.
Here comes some serious gaslighting from Daniel. I've already addressed this in a video, but let's just listen to it just because it's amusing. Oh, Young Frankenstein. I haven't watched it. Honestly, you can tell when he's bullshitting, basically, because this is when you get this bullshit kind of language that isn't even real language. I mean, let's face it. Who speaks like that? I reckon they probably quietly did get DNA in May and June. Probably in the first couple of days, I would imagine. But generally, when it comes to that sort of thing, in terms of everything, as Rob McCammon would put it, being to judicial standards, then they need to actually probably go through the motions and do it properly, I guess. Okay, let's listen to this wonderful bit of gaslighting from Daniel.
Things that came back. One was, because I remember her putting it up on her screenshot, that there was no other pink blanket. The person that responded back from the police department said there was not a second pink blanket. There was only one. And then another thing.
Sorry to cut you off. That comes from the other pink blanket was not evidence, right? It was no significant evidence. So it was just considered.
Thank you, Pinky. Very much appreciated. This is where he's like, well, you know, the reason they're saying there's no other blanket because that it wasn't considered evidence. Yeah, keep going, Daniel. Dig that hole.
Just another item, right? It plays no role into any significant evidence. Okay. And you have to remember that's coming from the RCMP. They would have to coordinate with major crimes, and like I don't know if they coordinated with major crimes to put out that email to her, right? That may have just been straight from the RCMP, right?
He's really, really struggling here, isn't he? If you read the latest Globe and Mail article, the one where they're talking about Malaya, Lindsay, that's her name. Lindsay quotes Alison Gerard. Who's Alison Gerard? She's the media liaison for RCMP. She's the same person that I email because it is her job to basically liaise between media, between content creators, and whichever department in the RCMP they are seeking information from. So when I email Alison with a request, she goes directly to the detectives and takes the request to the detectives, and then she gets back to me. But let's let Daniel think that, you know, she's just some random person in the RCMP that knows nothing. He does. And welcome in, Cool J. He thinks major crimes, he's said this so many times, hasn't he? He's like, major crimes, they're not RCMP. Of course they're RCMP, you twat. He's just... Yeah, he does. Massive bruise. Well, not massive, but he's got that bruise right on the, almost right on the eye ridge there. There's so many pictures where you see signs of bruising or injuries on these two. Welcome in, Iden Fee. You're not showing up on here. Oh, there you are. Hi. Welcome in, Iden Fee. Good to see you. And thank you for the jewels, Summer Breeze. Oh, that was me last night. I have an old dog who gets up multiple times until about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Doesn't make life easy, but, you know, I don't begrudge her that. Oh, he's clueless. He really is. Oh dear. You gotta wonder about this guy. Just the level of mansplaining that's going on, just for starters.
Because the way the RCMP works, the RCMP has nothing to do with this case other than collecting tips.
All right, the RCMP has nothing to do with this case other than collecting tips. Daniel, what do you think major crimes actually is? I'd really like to hear his explanation of what major crimes is. Oh dear. Oh, look, that's probably his office. He probably gives people legal advice. He goes into Tim Hortons and sets up his little name plate on the table while he's got his coffee, and people go to him for advice. Yeah, it is. And how many times do we see this on Jack? That's all they are. They're a switchboard. You ring them up, and they just listen. That they don't have any intelligence. They don't communicate with major crimes, because major crimes aren't RCMP. Oh dear, he doesn't understand the words that come out of his mouth. I swear to God. That's a bit steep, isn't it? I don't think I'd pay him 15 cents for his advice. Oh yeah, he's a genius. Oh, I know. I do wonder what major crimes think. Oh no, this is good. Detective Dodo, totally. Oh look, I'd pay more for your advice, but I wouldn't pay 15 cents for Daniel's advice. He should be paying people for him to give them his advice. Anyway, let's hear some more of this ridiculous mansplaining stuff.
Right? Because major crimes is a total different branch, an escalated branch. It would be equal to, I hate saying this because law enforcement, the way they do their divisions is so much different than the United States, but it would be equal to, let's say, the FBI.
Wrong. Does he have any concept of this whatsoever? Does he not understand FBI is not a higher up level of state law enforcement? FBI is a completely different identity. You don't have to behave. I'm in that kind of mood this morning anyway. He's a complete utter dingbat, honestly. Well, major crimes is like FBI. No, Daniel. Major crimes is like taking it to state level. You know, the state police as well. No, it's not even that. It's, well, here we call it CIB, Criminal Investigations Bureau. It's just another part of major crimes. FBI is not just another part of local law enforcement. Completely different. He's really making himself look like a complete utter twat. And the terminology, escalated branch. I wonder if they, when they have their little war room meetings of the morning, they sit there and they laugh about Daniel quotes. Because there's got to be so many things that he says that they just think are hilarious. They're probably hysterical. They probably find it hysterical. Oh, yeah. They probably have to warn people. Just so you know, people, Professor Dan's coming in this morning. Just be prepared. Oh, dear. Yeah, it's one of those. FBI or CIA or something completely new. Oh, dear. He is definitely a twat waffle. That is such a good term.
Right? Because the way what major crimes does, they do major crimes, kidnapping, missing persons, murders. They do those type of crimes or escalated issues, and the RCMP only handle, you know, the tip collection. They'll
I'm sorry. This guy is such a douche. Yeah, he does. He thinks that US citizens are dumb, but not only that. What he's saying here, she brought it up in context of me emailing Alison about the imaginary pink blanket, and he's launched into gaslighting mode, and he's forgotten that I'm Australian, I'm not American. So he's gaslighting Americans and basically saying they don't understand how the RCMP works. Well, I'm not American. And actually, I do understand how it works in Canada. I understand how it works in the United States. And I understand how it works in Australia. And when it comes to comparing Australia and Canada, it makes it much easier for me to understand how major crimes works. Because we have the same sort of structure here in Australia. They just take the tips. Oh, Gordon Bennett. They're just the, yeah, RCMP. They're just the tip collectors. That's all they do. I mean, seriously. Yep. Oh, sending him for a right-handed hammer. Yep. Daniel, we need you to go find a right-handed hammer, please, and go find a long stand, and we need some nail holes. Oh my gosh. Oh, seriously. You got to wonder if anything is happening in that little head of his. No tipping at the escalated branch. No, that doesn't happen. Hang on, what did you learn from a mod on another channel? I've missed something here. Got to scroll back up. Oh, the twat waffle. I love it. It's perfect. It is so perfect. It fits. It really fits.
Collect the tips and then hand them to major crimes.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yep, that's what that's what RCMP do. They sit there in their room with their phones and their little headsets, and they spend all day answering phones and getting tips. And when they get a tip, they get out of their desk and they run along to major crimes and they hand it over, and then they run back to their desk and they sit down and they take another tip. That's what he's telling us. Oh dear. Oh, seriously, you just gotta. He's saying they don't get paid an hourly rate or a salary. Yeah, all they do is they sit there and they take tips. They probably get paid per tip. Oh my gosh, he really is a twat waffle. I just run that back a bit.
They do those type of crimes or escalated issues, and the RCMP only handle, the tip collection. They'll collect the tips and then hand them to major crimes.
Yeah,
I don't know how many people are educated in the way law enforcement works.
I'm sorry, I'm trying so hard not to just completely lose it. Welcome in, Joyous. So many people, according to Daniel, so many people just don't know how it works. So he's explaining it to us now. It's so good that we've got Daniel here to teach us how law enforcement works in Canada. Can you just imagine? Now I'm picturing a bunch of minions running around carrying tips from sitting there taking a tip and then running along to major crimes and handing it over and then heading back. Like, oh my gosh. Oh yeah. Yeah. I can see him. Oh, what's the name in Florida? I can picture her in my brain. It's just not giving the name. He'll do what she did and just, oh, sod off, bogan. Sorry. We've got a few bogans loose around here in the neighbourhood at the moment. Sarah Boone, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. He's going to do a Sarah Boone. He's going to go through like 20,000 lawyers and then try and represent himself. That is a damn good question. I would like to know what Sunny's strategy is. Now, I know that she is in customer service, so maybe she's developed a strategy over the years for not landing. I know. I'm nearly at that point, like trying so hard not to just do one of those ridiculous laughs where you just can't stop. Yep. Apparently, we're all morons. Every single one of us. Oh dear God. He knows everything. He's a freaking expert on everything. Seriously. Oh wow. I could imagine a lawyer withdrawing from representing him. Oh look, probably she was. I really want to know from Sunny how she got through this. Because honest to God, like, how can you sit there and take this guy seriously when he's spouting all this crap? Like, No, that was the local. That was one of the local bogans. Apparently they've got nothing to do at the moment, so they're up and down on their little baby rubber band bikes and their bogan cars with their bogan exhausts. Oh my gosh, I can just picture that. Oh dear. Oh, this is too hilarious. I probably can't put that up, but I agree with you, Bonza. Oh golly gosh. Yeah. Oh look, I'd imagine Daniel's resume probably beats everyone else's resume. Like, I know it all. Big capital letters. Anyway, let's go on.
This country, because you do have a lot of viewers that are from the United States, and the way law enforcement works here is much different.
Absolutely. Now, Bossman says, what about Earl finding the only boot print? Is that true? I don't think that that's true. I don't think Earl found the boot print.
The boot print was found at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. It was very early hours in the morning, and it was found by a searcher. It was not found by Earl. It was not found by a neighbour. It was not found by some random dog handler with a dog that wasn't really trained, or whatever he tried to say in another interview. Oh, thank you very much, Joyous. Very much appreciated. I needed the laugh today. I really did. Just oh, he does. Yeah. Daniel the Einstein. Seriously. Oh, far out.
Earl didn't. Earl, my father didn't find the boot print. That was actually found by another neighbor that's here.
Another neighbor.
Yeah, another neighbor, and then he told my father, and then it got into the hands of the RCMP and such.
Well, that's complete utter bullshit. Sorry, kind of the squirrels are well and truly loose today. See, around the time that the boot print was found, RCMP was searching Earl's property. So he's just randomly made up this story on the spot, which can be very easily debunked just by listening to the dispatch audio. Oh yeah, I could imagine he does do that thing where he likes to sound really smart, and she probably thought, wow, this guy's like super smart. That's a scary thought. And welcome in, Carla, using Derwood as a reference. Yeah, well, didn't Derwood say, he was on this phone conversation with Daniel with CPS? Oh yeah, because he was screaming very, very loudly. Exactly. Honestly, you just got to wonder.
Never actually my father that found the boot print in question.
Okay, yeah, because I heard too it was like another neighbor. I'll just leave it at that. Another neighbor.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't another neighbor. And look, as much as I love Sunny and I love several other content creators, I wish people would check their facts before they put it out as solid information. Because if you listen to the dispatch audio, it was a searcher in the middle of the night. Well, not even in the middle of the night, in the early hours of the morning. Well, apparently Daniel does. I wonder if he would now, but I do need to go through that new Durwood audio. I've heard it's a bit aggravating.
Says Daniel, did you and Malaya have a babysitter? Yeah,
No.
Janie.
Yeah. Sometimes my mother or my father would look after the kids. Yeah, if
or
me
your
and
dad.
Malaya wanted to like go to town, or Malaya had we had an appointment, or anything of that nature, mom or dad would instantly step up and look after the kids, or look after Jack or Lily separately, right? If one of the kids had an appointment or something.
Yeah, Daniel. Good on you. Okay, I just need to. This is Daniel's fault. I need to go hunt down my Ventolin really quickly. So I'm just going to put a. Let's have Superman Dan while I just get myself organised.
I'm a math man, yeah, I count cans, live in a trailer with rusted pants. Mom's dog's bald, it's got no flair, lost all its hair, and it don't care. Pink blankets, lies I've told again, footprints vanish like phantom friends. I'm Superman, Daniel, faster than wind, stronger than a chopper when the rotors spin. I rake my driveway while Mom shakes her fist. Super Daniel, yeah, I can't be missed.
I like this one better, I think.
Not allowed on Mama's ATV. She says I drive it recklessly. X wrote her name on my mirror in red. Now I'm searching cold, it's like I lost my head. Dirt roads, rivers, waist high deep. Virginia slims, I puff and leap. I'm Superman, Daniel, faster than wind, stronger than a chopper when the rotors spin. I rake my driveway while Mom shakes her fist. Super Daniel, yeah, I can't be missed. No load on Mama's ATV. She says I drive it recklessly. X wrote her name on my mirror in red. Now I'm searching covers like I lost my head. Dirt roads, rivers, waist high deep. Virginia slims, I puff and leap. I'm Superman, Daniel, arrogant and bold, strutting pop lines in the cold. Work one day a week at the sawmill grind. Super Daniel, yeah, I own my time. I'm Superman, Daniel, arrogant and bold, strutting pop lines in the cold. Work one day a week at the sawmill grind. Super Daniel, yeah, I own my time.
Even with me running through the woods over the head of the helicopters and head of the drones and stuff like that.
That's a good one.
Okay, that's better. Now I can breathe again. This is all Daniel's fault. I have to look at what Deborah said now. I'm reading Teresa's comment. Whoops. But I gotta find Deborah's comment. Oh my gosh. Must be way up. Okay, yep, I get it now. Oh dear. Oh no. I'm actually wiping tears away from my face right now. He's like, you know, super fast. Oh no, Carly. An infection after surgery, that's always a little bit scary. Hopefully it's coming right. Okay, a little bit more of this.
Needed to be, you know, done, right?
Can I ask you a question? Oh, go ahead.
Yep. Oh, go ahead.
Your brother, Justin, obviously he has not been vocal at all in regards to this case. And is it just because he just doesn't want to be
My
freaking
brother has a family, right? And he
Yeah.
doesn't want to be dragged into it and have his family basically, I'll use this word, extorted by YouTube creators or media.
Right.
And
Another $5 word that he really has no concept of what it means. He doesn't want his family extorted by the media. Like, what? I don't even understand what he's trying to say. Like, well, I do understand what he's trying to say, but I just can't even wrap my head around how he comes up with these kinds of phrases. Oh dear. Yeah, he is, you know. He probably can, because he probably had to look it up first. He probably looked it up in his word of big books. Maybe he's got like an app that gives him a new word every day, and he's got to try and figure out what it means. Yeah. Having a family doesn't really mean anything in this case. Logan has a family. She got herself involved and then headed for the hills. He probably doesn't want to be associated, but I still wonder if he was there when the children went missing. Oh dear. But apparently, yeah, he doesn't want his family being extorted by the media or YouTube creators. Yeah, he couldn't afford the 4-syllable book. He's still saving up for the 4-syllable book, so he's just got to use up his 3-syllable book for now. I think that's the truth. He does not want anyone talking to Justin. Carla, I really hope that's going to be okay, and I hope the antibiotics really kick in and make a difference. Oh, laughter is definitely the best medicine. They really are bending over backwards to leave him out of it, to try and convince people that don't look at him. You got to wonder. Oh dear, this is what happens when the lack of sleep catches up with me. My brain just goes into squirrel mode, like 100% squirrel mode. Oh dear.
my brother's always lived a very quiet life. He doesn't,
Are your personalities different?
Yeah, me and Justin are very different.
Like very opposite, right?
Yeah.
Well, thank God for that. Can you imagine 2 Daniels in this world? That's a frightening thought. That really is.
My brother's very straight edge, never did drugs.
Yeah.
We're both very family oriented in that aspect. We love our children. We,
But just different. Yeah, just different.
Yeah, we're just 2 different people. The way my brother doesn't suffer from like the ADHD like I have.
Right.
So we're 2 different people. We both. I'm very outgoing and
He's
not
an
afraid.
introvert.
I could think of better words to describe you, Daniel, in terms of very outgoing and not afraid. Did I miss a 4-syllable word? Or are you just saying that to do my head in? Because I'm going to actually... I'm going to be looking for that right now. It would be good if Justin would tell the truth. He must know something. I mean, him being there crying in the driveway on the Saturday. What's that about? Put the thesaurus down and pick up a dictionary. Yes, so totally. Oh, he's a douche. He really is.
He is in a way, but he
But
just
can be social.
he focuses on his family.
Right, which is a good quality to have.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
And it just comes from the fact that I've been to his place many times, and it would be coming on tonight, and the drones would start showing up, and I have to say, like, man, I gotta go, because this is putting extra strain on you and your family.
So not only the drones following him, flying around his property, following him to Jordan's place, but they also follow him to Justin's place. So seriously, you don't want to be anywhere near Daniel at nighttime, because there's going to be like 1,000 drones stalking you. Yeah, probably. Oh, so true. Mathematics is his four-syllable word. I think it would be almost impossible to keep up with all of that, all his Danielisms, his wrong using words in the completely wrong context, all this stuff. Seriously. Yeah. Oh, him and his drones. Honest to goodness, it sounds like there's like this major drone epidemic right now in Pictou County. So if you are in Nova Scotia, I would steer clear of Pictou County, because you might get attacked by a drone. In fact, you probably need to stay indoors at nighttime if you are anywhere near Pictou County, because those drones are going to get you.
And privacy concerns for no reason. I have to like leave, right? Because drones would start showing up, because drones follow me everywhere I go. When it comes to nighttime,
yeah.
Say if I was to, go for a drive. Say if I went out tonight. Maybe even if I went for a walk, drones follow me everywhere I go. I have zero privacy when it comes to the. As soon as the cover of dark comes, drones constantly watch me.
How many?
Sorry, I've just got to. I can't help it.
So tall, the cars are parked and watching me, they all speed away. When I step out the door, they take my pics and videos galore. Drones are buzzing high above my place, yet none appear online to show their face. No one sees my mark making the ground, just silent lights without a sound. Up in the sky, lights of every color shining bright. They flock to watch me every night, hoping for a glimpse or a fight. I run so fast they can't keep up. They chase me through the wasted slush every night. Hoping for a
I thought that was appropriate right there. Yeah, definitely. You know, if you go to Nova Scotia, you do need to be warned. Oh dear. Um, has anyone told him that they can see him hitting the pipe through the walls? Because, you know, that's the next thing. They're special drones. They've actually designed them especially for stalking Daniel. Lansdowne must have a good view of the night sky. Yep. Oh dear. He needs help. He really does. He needs to lay off that pipe a bit, I think.
How many drones? Like, I'm sure it's tapered off. So,
No.
no. Like, how many drones are we talking about here that you feel like are?
There's been some times where I've seen 40 to 50 drones, and sometimes I'd even be at, you know, Jordan's house or Darren's former residence, and the amount of drones there would be absolutely unreal. It was like, I referred to it as last summer. It was Christmas in July, because you look up at the sky and there's just so many different colors. It was like Christmas.
I'd like to know what him and Jordan were on that night. It was, you know, it was like Christmas. There were just so many different lights. Yeah, you can't fly a kite in his vicinity either. Oh yeah, they've actually got unmanned drones that monitor the highway and things like that. But pretty certain there weren't 50 odd drones over Jordan's place while him and Daniel were hitting the pipe. Oh dear. I think we're getting to the bottom of the problem there. Yeah. Oh, far out. 10 things I learned in 11 crazy words. Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, I wish I could do that accent, but so true. Stupid is as stupid does. Around the time that he did this interview with Sunny, this was just after Tint did his most recent drone search of the area. He did a live drone search on May the 2nd. So I suspect that this is Daniel having been on something when Tint was doing his drone search, and it just blew his brain, and he's just like, oh my gosh. Yeah, so many different colors. I could almost try to be embarrassed for him, but he at least gives us something to be amused about. So, and the fact that he has to do so much gaslighting and mansplaining, I kind of don't feel any remorse. Oh, where's that gone? Good to see you in here, pretty birds. Maybe they can cloak. Maybe you don't see them because they can cloak. They can go invisible. That'll be the next thing. Oh yeah. Yeah, 40 to 50 drones search following him, because yeah, you're worth that, Daniel. Oh my gosh, it's the mothership, yeah. Funny but sad though, isn't it? Yeah, you're so right. This paranoia that Daniel's got is like beyond crazy. But he's been sober for over a year. Doesn't sound it to me.
strung across the sky.
And you're saying that and so was that 40 to 50 at a
Sunny's really trying not to lose it here. Oh, whoops, sorry. There we go. Chat's back up. Sunny was really trying not to lose it there. She's lost for words.
It's in July because you look up at the sky and there's just so many different colors. It was like Christmas lights strung across the sky.
And you're saying that and so was that 40 to 50 at its max? And is it
Yeah, but it's also hard to count them.
Yeah.
And
oh dear, this is just going from bad to worse. He can't count them because there's so many, or he can't count them because he can't count past 10. Yeah, he sounds so sober, doesn't he? Like, there's Christmas lights strung up in the sky. It's not just drones, but they're strung up like Christmas lights. She was struggling there so much just then. You could see she was trying to find the words and they weren't coming out. Thank you for the jewels, Summer Breeze. Yeah, they move so fast. Oh my god. Can you imagine him sitting out there trying to count the drones? Oh dear. I think that could be the problem. That could be the problem. Yep. It's more than his fingers and toes. So true. Poor Daniel. I don't know how Sonny got through this.
because in some aspects some are very open and they sit there and they watch you. And there's been many times where I would go outside at nighttime last summer and I would go outside and I would sit there and I would tell the drones to, wave my arms for them to come.
He was talking to the drones. He was going outside and talking to the drones. Oh my gosh. I don't know what he was on, but seriously? That must be some good shit.
Because in some aspects some are very open and they sit there and they watch you. And there's been many times where I would go outside at nighttime last summer and I would go outside and I would sit there and I would tell the drones to, wave my arms for them to come down, like come bring the drones down. And then the drones would go back and forth to say no. Like
Oh my god. He was waving for them to come down and they were waving back and forth and saying no. Oh, I'm seriously. Definitely tripping on something. Like, must be nearly time for another one of his toilet breaks. Bit of a top up. Yeah, ghost lights. Oh my gosh. I don't know how Sunny got through this. I really don't. I mean, you could hear her stumbling over her words before because she just was like, how the hell do you respond to this? I think he genuinely believes it. I've lost track if this is after the first or the second toilet break. Yeah, see, he had the practice before with the helicopter arms, and now he knows what to use them for. Holy moly. I have sympathy for Sunny. because she did a bloody good job getting through this.
in the sky. But there has never been any drone. I would go outside and I would sit there and I would tell the drones to, wave my arms for them to come down, like bring the drones down. And then the drones would go back and forth to say no, like in the sky. But there has never been any drone footage at night. Like there's never been any drone footage uploaded onto the internet of them watching me.
Oh dear God. He's so paranoid. One moment he's saying they're RCMP drones, but now he's saying there's never been any footage uploaded of the drones watching him at night. Do you think, Daniel, it's because maybe there aren't 50 or 50,000 drones watching you at night, so there's not going to be any footage? Oh, I know it does sound like oh dear. Yeah, they were talking in drone language to each other. He makes it sound like the drones are alive. Like that number 5 is alive. What was that movie back in the 80s? Short Circuit. There is a bunch of rogue drones in Nova Scotia chasing Daniel Martel. Yep. Now we know how to communicate with drones. That's drone speak. But only if they're the rogue ones. He probably saw Tint's drone up in the sky a few days before this and thought it was 50,000. I can just imagine him there conducting the drones and they're all going side to side with his hands. Oh my gosh. Yep. Oh my gosh. It's in the dark, of course, because they can see in the dark as well because they're magical drones.
And, has anyone been charged in this case? Absolutely not. But it's the inconsistencies of it that have driven me crazy, right?
Well, the inconsistencies from me come from me not communicating myself properly. And I've worked over the last year on that. And also the inconsistency.
Daniel, looking up big words and thinking that is you communicating properly, that's not you working on it over the past year. Oh dear. Yep. He needs to add that to his CV. Drone orchestra director, air traffic controller. Oh dear. And that's the scary reality of it. Good to see you in here, Carrie. It is the paranoia showing his guilty conscience, that's for sure. They need 50 drones because of how fast he runs. Don't forget, this guy can outrun helicopters. So one drone's not going to keep up. Oh dear, holy moly.
Of me speaking so much, right?
Yeah.
After
in this case, absolutely not. But it's the inconsistencies of it that have driven me crazy, right?
Well, the inconsistencies from me come from me not communicating myself properly. And I've worked over the last year on that. And also the inconsistencies of me speaking so much, right?
Yeah.
After you put so many words out in the world, the way it may come across on a certain day or a certain time may be different than another day, right? And it's
in other words, when you've looked up words and used them to say something and they actually don't mean what you think they mean, then the next time you say that thing and you use different words, again, they're not going to mean what they say they mean. The guy's clueless. Totally clueless. Yeah, exactly. Let me interrupt you and bring the conversation back to myself. And good to see you in here, Shirkers. He is. He's just. Gotta worry, really. Yeah, Dan, you just don't speak enough, really. But this whole bit here is so ironic. You know, I've got better at communicating. I found a new word book. And when I can find the 4-syllable word book, I'm gonna get even better at communicating. They probably did. There was probably all these people saying, "Hey, we saw the Northern Lights over in Nova Scotia. We're over Lansdowne Station." Oh my gosh, yeah, Stearns, they'd need like a full fleet, like thousands. I have to share this with people on one of my Jack and Lilly live streams. I've got the whole tracking of Stearns's car off out of the documents that I'm going to share in one of our live streams. But it's something that I think Daniel would find very interesting when you see just how much tracking can occur. We honestly need a Daniel dictionary because the words that he's coming out with, and he thinks he's a communications specialist. It doesn't matter if the words actually don't fit where he's putting them, because he's still the expert.
Goes on, the experiences I have with the case, it will become more detailed, right? As I remember more and I go through the processes of trying to remember everything.
It becomes more detailed the more toilet breaks you have, Daniel. But the sort of details you're adding aren't exactly overly rational ones. I do hope that you are keeping a list, Unky, because seriously, this is just classic. Oh, and I've got to get time to actually watch that. She threw up another video last night, didn't she, or yesterday? I've heard that it is very good, and I must go and catch it.
And I want to talk about some of the interviews as well. I've done at least 50 on-camera interviews.
So I remember when your mom had brought that up about, being afraid to basically almost be outside.
Sonny's like, hang on. Can we get back to the actual interview? Can we just pause for a minute and get back to what I was trying to discuss? It must have been so frustrating for her. Like, after 9 hours of this, her brain just must have been so fried. So true. Can people really dumb themselves that far? You could create a whole new language with Daniel's dictionary, in my opinion.
Because the thing is that, like, a lot of cases, you get a lot of looky-loos that are just kind of passing by, trying to look at the property.
Well, you get some YouTube creators that say they drove by the house 11 times.
Right. So I mean, same with Brad's house too, as well.
Yeah, we did get a YouTuber who claimed that she drove past the house about 11 times, and she claimed that it was just because she was in that area searching. It sounds to me a bit more like stalking, but hey, moving on. I'd be the same. I wouldn't get through 30 minutes. My brain would just freeze. I'd have no more questions. because I would be just sitting there trying to actually fathom what the F he was talking about. Unreal. Yeah, yeah. I must admit I always revert to calling it a house, because in Australia, a trailer is the thing that you hook up to the back of your car. And my brain keeps forgetting to call it that. Um, 4? You'd need more than that, wouldn't you? Even if they were triple espresso. You'd probably need 1 every half hour. Yeah. That's why his story keeps changing. It's got nothing to do with the fact that he can't remember what he said last time. Oh yeah, a bit of Dan-splaining. I like that. I've got to write that down, because that is so spot on. Okay, that's more of a scribble, but hopefully I can read that later. Yeah, we have caravan parks, not trailer parks, and with we call them demountable homes, or I can't even think what the other terminology is, but yeah, a lot. This was the inspiration for that drone song that I made. The Christmas lights thing. I was like, oh my gosh, this guy is nuts. Oh, me too. Sonny did well. Sonny did really well. Okay, press play.
Right?
And
People want to know who's this neighbor. Da-da-da-da-da-da. But so I can understand why it does put some fright, because again, I don't live in those shoes, right? It's not like that's happened in my
Well,
life.
I go out in the yard sometimes, and there'll be cars at the end of the driveway just sitting there watching.
Yeah.
Just watching the house, and then I go outside, and then they just speed away.
poor Daniel, he's just being stalked by the whole world. There's like cars in the driveway all the time, watching and speeding away. Yeah. A little bit of reality in there. Lily with her little unicorn. Someone got offended with me the other night when I was talking about in my live stream, and I referred to Lily's unicorn as like being grotty or something like that. And I wasn't meaning it in an offensive way, just showing that it's been well loved and well handled, because it was grotty. It was like a well loved toy that had been handled a lot. So I apologize if I offended people by referring to it that way. It wasn't intended at all. Good to see you in here, butterflies. Welcome in. It's the No-Tel Martel Trailer Hotel. Yep. What did I miss? I missed something, but yeah, it's when it's grotty, it's well loved. It's they're not going to let you take it away from them and wash it, because it's their treasure. Oh, look, honestly, it's a bad one when I have to take a break just to take Ventolin because I've been laughing too much. Yeah, sure, you're in the vertical. Most people are over in the horizontal. Oh yeah, you get. It's for me when I refer to a toy as being grotty, it's like that's like a favorite toy because they won't let you put it in the washer. It's like you can't. You've got to sneak it away from them. Yep, I still have my Paddington bear from when I was itty bitty bitty. My niece, many years ago, I gave her her father's teddy bear from when he was a baby. He's been gone 20 years now. So I think it was for her 21st birthday. I gave her her dad's first teddy bear, as well as her uncle's first teddy bear, because I was going to give one each to her and her brother because they're twins. And I thought, I didn't know if her brother would appreciate it. So she's got her father's teddy bear and her uncle's teddy bear. Yeah, my Paddington bear's over 50. I'll leave it at that. The bears that I gave my niece are both over 60. That's a good year, Carla. That's a very good year. I suspect that's probably roughly the year that my Paddington comes from. Yeah, I think first teddy bears are always important. I know that I treasure mine. I would, it's always the first thing. When I lived in an area that was prone to bushfires, you could bet that I made sure that I knew where Paddington was, because if I was evacuating, he was going with me. They're special. I loved E.T. E.T. was so fantastic. I loved that movie too. My dad was a movie critic, and back when, after it was released, he did a review, and you probably might not know, but they didn't release the video of E.T. for something like 20 years. They basically, it wasn't going to be released at any point in time. They were really sitting on it. And we basically had a bootleg copy because Dad, being a movie critic, got it on DVD. Oh no, your mother threw your bear away. That would be devastating. I'm so glad I've still got my bear. Oh, that is so cool. Fred Bear, I love that. Oh, you think 1973 was a good year too, Tamaru? I agree, definitely. Oh, I always wanted a light up ET thing. I had an ET, but it was just one of those little ones that was kind of vinyl. I know that now, bearing in mind that when I say that they didn't release it on DVD for probably something like 20 years or something, maybe 10, 15 years, because my dad was a movie critic, we had a VHS player long before people had video collections or anything like that. You can't see chat, sure, because you are in the vertical one, not the horizontal. So, yeah, we're all in the horizontal. Yeah. Mine was just one of those little vinyl ETs. I wanted one of the big ones. Oh, that's so cute. You got a Crystal Tinkerbell from Disney. I always think of Maddie Soto now when I think of Tinkerbell because of that cute little photo of her in her Tinkerbell costume. Can't find the other one. Tried looking. Oh, bummer. Hi, Dodie. Good to see you in here. Let's have a little bit more from expert Dan. A bit more Dan-splaining.
And it leaves a sour taste in your mouth. Why are they there, right? Well, it could be like endless reasons, right? But your mind, the human mind always defaults to negativity, right? They're not there for a positive reason. Yeah, I've done it at least 50 on camera.
He's now an expert on the human mind as well. Oh dear. They did, and we also had that. My dad got a lot of things on VHS that weren't released. It's always a bonus when you're growing up and your dad's a movie critic. We used to get into the movies for free, so his best friend owned the cinemas. So anytime there was something on in the school holidays, Dad would just take us there and we'd get into the movies for free. I have 3 dogs, Dawn. Taka, who's a big Kelpie Lab cross. Mouse, who's a teeny tiny crazy Chihuahua, and Amira, who's also a Chihuahua. I'll bring up photos later. I might share them in members again. That'll do it. That'll cause the sour taste, I would say so. No, most human minds don't go straight to the negative. But, you know, Daniel's an expert and he thinks that's how it works. Oh, Sky Painter's in here? Oh, hi, Sky Painter, sorry. Honestly, the bullshit, the stuff that he comes out with. Oh dear. We need mouse footage. I will have to come through with that. I will.
It leaves a sour taste in your mouth. Why are they there, right? Well, it could be like endless reasons, right? But your mind, the human mind always defaults to negativity, right? They're not there for a positive reason. Yeah, I've done it.
They're not there for a positive reason. You don't think they're there because they just adore you, Dan, and they want your signature? Like, seriously.
At least 50 on-camera interviews. I know CBC used to count them for me. And they used to say, I think it was like 17 or something like that the last time I talked to them, because they used to keep track. And they said, Daniel, this is like your 17th interview. You've done.
That's complete utter BS. Like, they're going to be like, yeah, Daniel, this is like his 17th interview. 50 seems to be his favourite number right now. 50 drones, 50 interviews. Yeah, it's the Super Dan fan club. It's like, let's put together a carpool. Come and jump in the car and we'll all go out and we'll see if we can spot Dan, and then maybe we can get him to sign our autograph our photos of him. Oh wow, I hope your friend is okay, Sky Painter. Wow. Oh, I didn't notice that with her. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, 50, everything's 50, 20, pick a number, just, 50 or 20, one or other. Yeah. If he can't dazzle us with his brilliance, he can battle us with his bullshit. That is so true. Cool. Thank you for coming in, BTTV. Very much appreciated. And thank you for putting out your YouTube short as well, because, yeah, I love that. Yep, he is a psychiatrist. Add that to his list of certificates, because, he's a fucking expert. She's drug-free now. I hope so, because seriously, the level of mental health issues that shone through in that interview, I do feel for her. She was definitely heavily medicated. She would have to be drug-free to do addiction counselling training. Yep. Definitely justice for Lily and Jack, and justice for Kylie. For all the other children out there who need advocates and who need justice. Yeah, now I think someone who's in trauma counselling, I think her counsellor should be helping her find maybe a different avenue for now. But anyway, that's, if it's something that gives her direction, well and good. Yeah, you said what I was trying to skirt around. See you later, BTTP. Thank you. I just think right now that I'm glad that she's got an idea for a direction, but I do think she's too damaged right now. And I'm sure she can, but wouldn't it be like most of those sort of degrees where you also have a practical component? That's my concern. That I just don't think it's a healthy option for her. I hope that wherever she's doing this degree, that she has good staff who can counsel her. Yeah, yeah. Oh, so she hasn't finished her year 12 schooling. Look, it may be that, you know, there's more to this than what she's saying publicly. Maybe that is the end goal. And maybe there's other courses that she has to do first. I don't know. That's a good question. That's a really good question. It could be a good way for her to deal with her own issues, but it could also trigger some serious trauma responses that could actually set her back. And I just hope that if she is planning on going down that route, that that the staff are at least very much aware of what's going on, and that they are, you know, working hand in hand with her. So it's a certificate after a BA, usually in psych. Okay, so she has to finish high school first, essentially, and then has to do a BA and then a certificate after that. So it sounds like it is a long road. So yeah, and I think that is definitely part of the process. I just hope that she's got the right sort of support. And, you know, if it's something that she's got as a goal to go back and do whatever schooling she needs first, then she might change directions and decide there might be something that catches her attention that might be more appealing. I just think from observing her interview, I just feel that right now there shouldn't be any pressure on her to go and work or to go and do study or anything like that. Because I think she just does need still. Look, I'm just going to be frank. Her brain's not entirely functioning on all 4 cylinders right now. And I think pushing her to do any sort of study or to go and get work right now, I don't think it's the right choice. It could just be another story. Look, it's a goal. But I guess part of my concern is someone with fragile mental health who gets this goal that they want to study, they want to achieve this thing with the studying, and then they discover 6 months down the track that they're struggling and they can't keep up, that's not going to be good for their mental health. But I just worry that jumping into something like that too early could actually have a negative impact. You can't determine her IQ from a 20-minute interview. But what I'm referring to is, oh no, trust me, she's definitely not that low. I would say that, you know, she's possibly in the low range of average or low, but I wouldn't put her down that low. That's the thing, you know, it's good to have goals, but if you are struggling and you try and pursue those goals too early, then they may never happen. Yeah. I mean, if that's what she needs, I think that's something that's probably achievable for her if she's got support. Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah, poor Jen Soto. Let's give Jen some sympathy. Jen definitely has a low IQ. Oh, I agree. And I think anyone who watched the live stream that I did on Biddy Porter would have recognised that same trauma response in Malaya as what we saw, like a more extreme version, happening with Dom. There were definitely signs in that interview that she is struggling with trauma. Yep. Oh, Jen definitely killed a bunch of brain cells with all that rug use. But yeah, what that would be a really good goal. At the end of the day, I feel for Malaya. I definitely see signs of trauma in her. But at the same time, I'm looking at two little people on my screen right now who are gone. And for 15 months, people have been lying and making up stories to cover their own asses. While in the meantime, we still don't know where Lily and Jack are. We still don't know what happened to them. And the stories continue, the deflections continue. And Lily and Jack are still gone, and we still don't have the answers. So, as much as I feel sympathy for Malaya, I also think that, you know, people need to start taking a bit of accountability. And I don't know if it's just that she's blocked it out. I know that little headband is so cute. I love Lily's little chipmunk cheeks. So cute. I mean, it could be that Malaya's just completely blocked it out, and it's just buried somewhere deep in her psyche. But I'm just sick of these people coming out and defending themselves and lying. And they're doing that over the lives of 2 children. I think that was the hard part for me to take with her interview, that she was sticking with Daniel's story. It felt like Jen Soto all over again, choosing Stearns over Maddie. It felt like she was defending Daniel over her own children. And I realise there's so much complex psychology behind what's going on with Malaya. But at the base of the matter is these 2 beautiful little babies in front of us here on the screen. And we need answers. We need justice. That's the thing. I think you put it. I understand her situation. I can sympathise in terms of the trauma that she's experienced. But she still needs to be held accountable. There were 3 people on that property when Lily and Jack went missing. And those 3 people claim to know absolutely nothing. But Lily and Jack didn't wander off into the woods, and they were not abducted. And people are saying, well, let Malaya believe the abduction story if that allows her to get out of bed of a morning. Well, my response to that is, if she has to hide in a lie to be able to get out of bed of a morning, then that's never going to end. The only way she's ever going to be able to move forward is if she speaks up. You know, she didn't protect them. How many images have we got here of Jack with black eyes? I would actually like to hear some serious answers from Malaya. Like, why did she choose to stay when she could see her children getting injured? Why is she still protecting Daniel? mean, someone could say, well, you know, she wanted to come out and be seen on the media, so she had to be careful what she said. Well, I don't know if that really helps. To be pushing this abduction thing when the RCMP have come out point blank and said no abduction. You know, she talks about she wants her babies home. She's got control over that. There's 3 people at the least that we know of who have control over possibly bringing Lily and Jack home. But they're more interested in themselves. Thank you, Shirkers. Can I put your comment up, Bonza? Yes, I think probably it is 4 people, if not more. Look, I'm just going to say, yeah, you do see people who get out of relationships and they keep going back until they finally get out. Where is it? Yeah, this is not uncommon. It's so not uncommon, and you know, I'm sorry that you went through that. It's, you know, I'm certainly not downplaying it and not saying that it's not something that's easy to do. But at the end of the day, there's still Lily and Jack missing. I knew the statistics were fairly high. And that's attempts. That's not the deciding to. Because you hear a lot of women say they'd made the decision and then they changed their mind before they attempted. I've heard women say, you know, there was like 40 times I was going to leave. And that's not they attempted to, that was just they were planning to, and then they changed their mind. So the 7 attempts on average is the tip of the iceberg in terms of, you know, that's when they got really brave. I don't think that whoever is the victim in Daniel's case, I suspect they may not use them as a witness. Oh, hell yeah. That's the thing. Trauma does really, really F with the mind and the emotions. Oh, thank you very much, Dawn. Very much appreciated. It really does screw up the brain. And it's possible that her brain is still in trauma survival mode, meaning that yeah, it's a tricky situation, but if her brain is still in trauma survival mode, then just, logical thinking doesn't happen when when that's activated. Yeah. Mm, um, yeah. It is how it happens. There was a case that I covered, I think it was probably last year now, of Jackie Purdon, I think her name was, and she'd been in an abusive relationship, and she'd moved out, and her kids were older, so, it wasn't so much of an effect on them, but she'd moved out. She'd got herself a place. She was really house proud. And she didn't even go back, as in move back in with him. She just went back one night to spend time with the guy, and things went south, and he basically ran her down with his father's car and killed her, because she was trying to leave. She didn't have phone reception, so she was basically heading down the driveway, and he chased her down the driveway with his father's car, and he killed her. And it was a typical situation of, she'd gotten out, she was safe, but she went back. Apple and their stupid updates, they just make things worse every time. Yeah, we've only got one interview with Malaya to go on. I just keep coming back to Lily and Jack, and that's my big thing here. They're still gone. They're out there somewhere. They need to be properly put to rest, and there needs to be justice. That's the end of the story, as far as I'm concerned. Thank you for the jewels, Summer Breeze. And that's the other thing too, the people leave and they beg you, "I'll change, come back." Yeah. Anyway, this has kind of gone from crazy happy to crazy sad, so I think it's probably a good spot to finish on. So thank you for coming in, everyone. If you haven't hit the like button, please do so. Also, if you're listening on replay, leave a comment, please. Even if you're listening now, feel free to come back in and leave as many comments as you like. And if you're new, please consider subscribing to my channel. So, Jackie Purdon, I'll send you the link. I covered it in one of my videos. Actually, it's in my Australian playlist. It was an Australian case. But I can send you the link as well. But you can find Jackie's case in my Australian cases playlist. Anyway, thanks for coming in, guys. It really was a great chat. I think sometimes it's good just to have a bit of a laugh. And Daniel certainly provides plenty of material for that. I think all of us kind of needed a bit of a laugh. Anyway, thanks for coming in, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Give a fuck about